And good afternoon. We welcome you in. It's the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. Yeah. What's up, everybody? How are we? All right, good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, you're doing good? All right. Yeah, happy to hear that. Roger, I hear voices in my head answering me when I asked, how is everyone doing? Just a bunch of people responding. Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding. Hey, guess what, Rogers? We're going to talk to a Major League Baseball player today. That's right. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, no kidding. You take me out to the ball game. Going to get us kicked off, for goodness sakes. No, we're here. We're hanging out. We're happy to have you with us. We are going to have David Fry. Some of you may go, who is David Fry? Well, David Fry is, Rogers, in the majors so far. He has been a left fielder, right fielder, third baseman, first baseman, catcher, and pitcher. The only positions he has not played as a Major League Baseball player is center field, second base, and shortstop. But he's played everything else. He's a great dude. Played at Northwestern State, was the Southland Player of the Year, the All-Louisiana Hitter of the Year. Just a quality human being. And he is going to join us at 4 o'clock. I am sharing out the info because we're no longer on Facebook anymore. We're on YouTube now. So with that, got to share out that we're in a little different spot, a little different place. But happy to have you come along and jump on board with us. But again, David Fry, who we chatted with him earlier today. He was so here you go, Rogers. Couple of things. Or as my boy Matt Vines was, a couple things. That's what Matt Vines would always say. So a couple of things. One, Hambone, as you might know, I feel like you know this, Rogers. Most baseball games are played in the evening. I feel like you know that, right? That feels like common knowledge. Hambone's a big Astros fan. He's wearing his Astros World Series title hat right now. Are you wearing an Astros shirt, Rogers? Okay, I couldn't see it. Yeah, World Series hat and shirt for Rogers. Are they the same World Series from last year, or are they different ones? They're both from last year? Okay. I couldn't decide if I thought you would match with the same year, or if you would be okay with like, all right, I'm going to do, like one of these will be 2022. Was it 22 last year they won it?
Yes.
Okay. And then what was the last one before that? 17? Okay. Back when they were banging on the drums and all that stuff. They had drums in the did they have Def Leppard in there? The one-armed drummer guy, was he?
That's almost how it sounded.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was pretty simple.
Yeah.
And for the league not to pick up on it,
right?
Yeah, not very bright.
I don't understand. The Astros have an actual drum set in their dugout.
Wait a minute, Neil Peart. Wait a minute, what's he doing?
Wait, what does the hitting the cymbal mean?
Yeah.
It's like
yeah. But now, all these years later, we realize that they're just basically the Barry Bonds of the steroid era, and everybody else was doing it.
Wait a second.
That's the guy that they pin it on, just like it's the Astros that they pin it on.
That pitcher is getting ready to pitch, and all I hear is oh, that must be the slider.
You looking for trouble?
So
you come to the right place.
So yeah, I just was curious if you would you mix and match like a 17 with a 22? Like, would you
I
do
don't
that?
usually do that.
Okay,
I usually
even though it's both Astros championships.
I usually stick within the era.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got to be the same year?
Like, if I wear my Saints, World Championship shirt, it's a hat from that era, or at least just a plain Saints hat that matches that.
But, like, you wouldn't wear a 2017 championship hat with a 2022 championship shirt?
Not really. Okay. That'd be just kind of like rubbing it in.
I mean,
they've been to 6 straight ALCSs. I mean,
So let's see, you'd have a hat, a shirt, shorts, and then like 2 wristbands,
maybe some boxer shorts.
Well, you gotta have it on display.
Gotta be able to see it. Shoes.
Yeah, shoes.
Yes. Does some world championship shoes?
Does New Balance make a white Astros a dad shoe?
I bet
for
you
the
we
Astros?
could probably find it somewhere, like on Fanatics or something.
Probably.
Like
All right. So David Fry, who is again, he's played kind of every position. By the way, Roger's not in the lineup today. He's been in the lineup for the last couple of days. But so Fry and I are texting back and forth, trying to get on the same page to try to get everything figured out. So Rogers, he texted me before I left for vacation last week, and we're like, okay, can we make it work before I leave? And he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, why don't we just wait till after I get back from vacation? We'll do it then. He's like, okay, sounds good. So I'm texting him yesterday, and I said, hey, what do you think? What are you looking at? I said, so we're live, because I prefer live, right? You always prefer to have it live. So I'm like, I'm on, 3 to 5 Central Time live, and if you can do anything in that time frame, that would be great. And he said, well, that's kind of our BP time. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to, ask him to do something on his BP time. He's like, but I have a day off. They don't have a game. He said, we have an afternoon game coming up in a couple of days, but it's a getaway day, which means as soon as they get done, they go right to the airport and fly out. He said, but I'm off next Thursday, meaning a week from 2 days from today. And Rogers, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, this guy, how many days off do baseball players get? Like 2 or 3 a month, maybe? The schedule's brutal in terms of the days off. They always have games, or they're traveling or whatever. Like an actual day off is very rare. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to ask this guy to come to call me. Even if it's a 15, 20-minute interview, I'm not going to ask him to do that on his day off. And I'm like, all right, well, why don't we see if we can record it? Now, with all the stuff that's gone on here at the old 1130 The Tiger Studios, recording now is a lot more difficult than it used to be. Trying to record an interview to playback is a lot more difficult than it was. So I try. That's kind of our last resort kind of thing, And so I said, hey, I said, what about, in the morning? I said, we kind of have a window between 10:30 and noon Central Time to record. Well, Rogers, here was the most adorable part of it. He literally writes me back and goes, okay, so you'll need me for an hour and a half? And I'm like, no, I'm not doing an hour. We're not doing a podcast or something. Like, no, I don't need you for an hour and a half, man. I said it'd be like a 15, 20-minute interview. It turned out to be 21 minutes. I'm like, no. I guess, but he was so nice. He was going to do it. Like, he was going to spend an hour and a half talking to me. I was like, no. No. I said, no, come on. That's crazy. So I said, no, it's not going to be... not going to be an hour and a half. I said, just pick a time between 10:30 and noon Central Time that works for you. And he goes, okay, let's do 11:30. I'm like, perfect. 11:30 today. It's tomorrow because we were talking yesterday. He's like, 11:30, whatever. I'm like, all right, great. Perfect. Let's do it. And then Rogers, he texts me this morning because I was planning to get up here probably, 11-ish. It's going to give me enough time to kind of put everything together and whatever, and then we'd be ready to go for an 11:30 interview. And he texted me this morning about 10:25, and he's like, by the way, I'm ready to go whenever. You can go ahead and call me whenever you're ready. And I wrote him back, and I go, well, did you think this was Central Time? Like, did you think you were at 11:30 Eastern? And he's like, oh, my God. He's like, I screwed it up. I thought it was 11:30 Eastern Time, not Central Time. And I'm like, oh, boy. Well, I was already planning on leaving in the next 15 minutes anyway, so it's not like I had to do a whole lot. I said, man, I thought you were 11:30 Central Time. He's like, oh, that's my bad. I'm like, no, it's my bad because I didn't confirm. So I was like, all right. And also, Rogers, I don't think I remembered Cleveland being on Eastern Time either. I didn't think it was that far east. Anyway, so I'm like, look, I'm going to take off for the studio. Let's try it, top of the hour, 11 o'clock Central. He's like, great. And so we called him about 11 o'clock Central, and he was great. He's fantastic. You'll hear that interview coming up at 4 o'clock. But it just goes to show you, like, the logistics. He actually wrote me, Rogers, and said, "I'm sorry for being so high maintenance." I'm like, dude, you have no idea what high maintenance is. Wow. You have no idea what high maintenance is. Just trust me, you have no idea what high maintenance is. Ultimate. Like, I have so many people that we've worked with and we've dealt with through the course of this show, through the course of the Brando show back in the day. Like, brother, you are low maintenance. So I wrote it back and said, don't worry, man, we're good. And he came on. It was great. It's fantastic, and we will air that coming up at 4 o'clock. And we got about 21 minutes, Rogers. It was no longer than I expected, but he was good. Very good. So David Fry will join us at the top of the hour. Meanwhile, we got all kind of stuff going on in the world of sports, including, Rogers, apparently the Saints are getting the gang back together.
I just don't.
This is weird. So, Rogers, the announcement has been made that Jimmy Graham is being signed by the Saints. That would be former Saints tight end Jimmy Graham. He was not on the team when they won the title, right? That was before him. It was like the next year, right? Because it was, who was the tight end? Jeremy Shockey. Shockey. Yeah, so apparently the Saints are running it back. Rogers, I have heard rumors within the Saints organization that they are going to re-sign Drew Brees and Sean Payton. That Payton is going to quit the Denver Broncos, that Drew Brees is going to quit whatever he's doing. I don't even know what he's doing these days. Apparently taking trips to London with folks. I guess, did you see that? You can, like, win a trip to London with Drew Brees for the Saints game. Yeah, so apparently Sean Payton's coming back. Drew Brees is coming back. I think Reggie Bush is coming out of retirement with Darren Sproles and Jimmy Graham, and then they're also going to get Marcus Colston back. And Joe Horn is coming back as well. So all of those guys are planning on signing. But no, Jimmy Graham actually did sign with the Saints today, which is crazy McCuckoo. Just wild that is going on. But yeah, Jimmy Graham. Now, Rogers, I'll let you take the microphone and kind of elucidate what you believe is going to happen eventually with the Jimmy Graham signing.
This is just so strange because so many years have passed. Right. He's had opportunities to come back or be traded back.
And he didn't play anywhere last year, right?
No. Apparently, from what I just understand on listening to T-Bob and Jacob, he took a year off to train for like some kind of mountain hiking thing or some kind of long distance event that didn't involve, like a triathlete thing.
Right.
But apparently while he was in training, he was struck by a car and disabled enough to where he had to stop his training. Jeez. And the last year he has spent healing.
Okay.
And he kind of reevaluated his life and decided he wanted to try football one more time, and he wanted to come back to the place that he now admits he should have never left in the first place. And probably should have never done the old, I'm a wide receiver, not tight end. You're still going to get your money, dude. And you would have been a New Orleans Saints hero. And you are to still a lot of people, but it went bad. But apparently he was in some kind of training to do some kind of different sport, was struck by an automobile. That halted that training. He's been a year out now healing, and he wants to come back. Now, in my mind, because I'm looking, this went from being one of the weakest positions on the New Orleans Saints to one of the strongest. Because now you have Jimmy Graham, Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, Taysom Hill, and Jesse James. Well, one of those or two of those are going to go. And if Jimmy doesn't stick, I think this is I'm going to give you a body in training camp. Let me see if I have anything left in the tank.
Got any juice?
And if not, I retire a New Orleans Saint from the NFL.
Yeah.
That feels like what this is to me, because you re-sign Juwan Johnson, big, young, strong stud. You got Foster Moreau back from beating cancer, so you know he's got a chip on his shoulder. Taysom Hill, we know what he can do. I had forgotten about Jesse James. Right now, he would be the odd man out as far as, name credibility.
Right.
But I just got a feeling Jimmy's going to come to camp, see what he's got, and if there's nothing left in the tank, he's going to retire as a Saint.
And the actual news of signing is Trey Turner.
Yes, now he's going to contribute.
Right. Also, Rogers, apparently they're planning on signing, where did it go? Max Garcia. Source told Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, not to be confused with Jeremy Schaap of ESPN. Apparently, 31-year-old veteran can play all spots on the interior of the offensive line, and most recently started 7 games for the Arizona Cardinals last season. So
now this is either a good thing or bad thing. It's either you're adding depth to an offensive line you like,
right,
or maybe your offensive line is a little getting old and a little dinged up more than you want to admit.
Dennis Allen said the offensive line additions aren't in response to any injuries, although guard Cesar Ruiz and tackle Trevor Penning are recovering from injuries. Allen said he expects every player on the roster to participate in practice, including wide receiver Michael Thomas, who's been recovering from a toe injury all season, and safety Marcus May, whose jury trial for a 2021 driving under the influence charge was set for Tuesday morning in Florida. So Trey Turner, drafted by the Panthers in 2014, played for the Chargers, Steelers, and Commanders. Dennis Allen said this is not a health-related signing. This is a signing where we felt like there's a veteran player we can bring in, put into the mix, and see how the competition plays out. We've played against him a lot. He's a big physical offensive guard. That's the number one quality that you see in him, is just the physicality that he plays with. We've had some good battles against him in the past and feel like he's a good fit for what we want to be able to do offensively. So Rogers apparently has nothing to do with injuries, even though there are multiple injuries along the offensive line for the Saints. So there you go. Saints are bringing back Jimmy Graham, signed 5-time Pro Bowl guard Trey Turner, and are signing somebody named Max Garcia, a veteran guard. So there you go. A lot of stuff happening in the world of the Saints today.
And, you know, if we're going to give equal justice, as much as we do not like them, the Dallas Cowboys apparently have reached an extension agreement with Diggs on a 5-year, $97 million extension.
Which Diggs, Rogers?
It's Stephon.
No, it's Trayvon.
Is it Trayvon? Oh, good God.
Stephon is the wide receiver.
The wide receiver,
yeah,
okay.
Trayvon is the corner that
so
plays
apparently
for,
they've reached a 5-year, $97 million extension. So there's your Cowboys news for you.
There you go. 5-year, $97 million. Trayvon Diggs, who has 17 interceptions in 3 years for the Cowboys. The crazy thing is, though, Rogers, when I'm not a big Fletcher's a big numbers, all the crazy stats and the all those WAR and win percentage and all that stuff. I don't get any of that. The analytics.
Yeah.
But apparently, Rogers, analytics-wise, Trayvon Diggs is one of the worst defenders in the NFL because he gambles so much.
He's got a high interception rate,
right, but he gets beat a lot because he's gambling for interceptions.
Yes.
Also, Rogers, one thing that we have learned is that if you gamble in the NFL, bad things happen, like you don't play.
Sean Payton's not a happy coach today after one of his star defensive players got banned for at least a year, so he's losing him.
Indefinite suspensions for betting on the NFL. Here's the thing, and I talked about this a little bit a couple of weeks ago. I don't like the idea that, look, I don't think you should be betting on the NFL if you play in the NFL, right? I don't think you should. Now, one of the guys that got suspended was not betting on the NFL. He was betting on other sports, but he was doing it at the facility, at his NFL facility. So my real issue is, all right, by the way, look at those temperatures, Rogers.
Oh, no, we're
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 100, 101, 101, 102, 103, 103. 0% chance of rain.
We're about to cook.
Yeah, Rogers, and I guess I have to figure out where my dang sprinklers turn on in on my grass. I've got the underground, built-in sprinkler system. I haven't had to use it in like 3 years.
Yeah.
We've always gotten enough rain. Yes, so apparently, again, my issue is, am not a big proponent of suspending guys or, punishments for guys that are not gambling on the sport. I don't care where you are. If you're in the facility and you're putting down a $100 bet on whatever, you're putting down a $100 bet on a random baseball game, but you just happen to be in the Chargers facility. Like, I don't buy that. I don't like that. As long as they're not betting on their own sport, then let them be. Let them bet from the facility. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you. So that's one of my issues, is the whole idea that you're basically banning people or you're suspending people for betting on other sports, but from your facility. I get the whole don't bet on your own sport thing. I 100% understand that. There are, you could have inside information, that sort of stuff. 100% understand that. I do not like the idea that we're banning folks for betting on other sports just because they're doing it at the NFL facility. The other problem I have is, if you are going to be and have such a really vehemently restrictive thought or process when it comes to gambling, then why are you in bed with the gambling organizations, right? Why do we have FanDuel advertising with the NFL? Why do we have DraftKings advertising with the NFL? Like that, none of that is okay. You cannot have a scenario whereby you are allowing this to happen, then being very restrictive with it at the same time as you're taking money from the gambling organizations. Right? That's my major issue with all of this. Stop taking gambling money if you are then going to be so anti-gambling. I think it's a massive level of hypocrisy. And I do not understand why it is such a hypocritical thing for the NFL. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but obviously they don't ask me. Although at the same time, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask your players not to gamble on the sport that they're involved in. I don't think it's even that unreasonable to ask them to not gamble on anything while they're at a league facility. I think that's if I'm going to throw one thing out, that's the first thing I'm going to throw out. All right, y'all want to gamble at a league facility? Have at it. Go get you some. So it's just a really, it's just very hypocritical is what it amounts to. It's a lot of hypocrisy going on. All right, so Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30, The Tiger, Rogers and Patrick, that's us. You can reach us in a couple of ways. You can call us at 318-320-1130. That's 318-320-1130.
Hello.
You can text us on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line. That number is 318-6570-HAM, 318-657-0426, also known as the
Bobby L. Green Plumbing
text line. Find us there. We're also available on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. You want to catch us there? Catch us there, man. I'll even give you the straight-up address. The Alan Parsons Project camera, the eye in the sky looking down upon me. Roger's getting to see the sweet Voltron shirt today. Pretty awesome Voltron shirt. Easy to do. YouTube.com/@Netherton Show. YouTube.com/@Netherton Show. The @ symbol, like you would do for Twitter, or I guess now X, Roger, is that right? X? Yeah. You have to, so apparently they're calling, that's my phone. Apparently they're calling tweets zeets now, or exeets or something. And oh, by the way, guess who? Guess what? Elon Musk just ran headlong into calling it X. Didn't bother to check and see if maybe X was copyrighted as a software or, type of thing. And wouldn't you know it, Microsoft, which had Microsoft X, Microsoft 10, wouldn't you know it, Microsoft has copyright to that. So they have sent a cease and desist letter to Elon Musk and Twitter. So now we're about to have some high-level lawyering going on. I have to get Ben Marshall involved in there. Sorry, high-level lawyering, Rogers. So not Ben. I kid. Actually, I honestly don't even know what Ben does. Like, I know he's a lawyer. But apparently he doesn't do trial stuff. I think he does a lot of, I don't know. I'll ask him. I think I've asked him 5 times before, and it never sticks. Yeah, he does deposition. I think he does a lot of wills and deeds and stuff like that kind of law. But I don't know. But I know he doesn't do a lot of trial work. But yeah, so apparently we're going to have some lawyers getting involved now, Raj, because Microsoft owns the trademark for X as a computer type thing. So you can find us on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now, at Netherton Show, at PT Netherton, at Hey Boy Rogers. Again, the youtube.com/at Netherton Show. And we would ask that you subscribe. We're trying to get, we're almost to 200 subscribers now. We'd like to get over the 200 mark. We'd like to get to 500 by the time we're in the middle of football season, which is obviously right around the corner. So if you would, please, if you have a YouTube account, please go subscribe. If you don't have a YouTube account, you can still watch it. For some reason, though, Rogers likes watching Alex Anderson more than he likes watching me. Of course, he's watching me live from 5 feet away, so he doesn't have to put it on the TV or anything. But yeah, feel free to check us out on the YouTube channel. Again, youtube.com/at Netherton Show. youtube.com/at Netherton Show. That is the way that you can find us there. Twitter we mentioned. We're also available on the app. That's a good way to tune in. 1130 The Tiger. Search for it on Google Play or your iTunes App Store and can listen to us in crystal clear HD audio. Also, the tower's back up, everything back running correctly on 1130 The Tiger and 103.3 FM. So we're good on the AM signal and the FM signal. And you can find us like you would normally. The app, YouTube, Twitter. The only places we're actually broadcasting, though, are on the radio and also on YouTube and as well on the app and 1130 The Tiger and 103.3 FM. So we got all that going for us, which is nice. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the man making it all work.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, and in the name of the Lollipop Guild, we wish to welcome you to Munchkinland.
Hey, boy. Hey, boy.
Hi, man.
Hello.
He is the king of the Lollipop Guild, the man with 2 last names first instead of 2 first names first, the rule rather than the exception of the Deep South or whatever it used to say. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, that was a lot.
That was a lot. And was that the thing, like everybody had first names? Like 2 first names, that was the deal?
The
like,
deal,
yeah.
but I had 2 last
You had
names
2 last
in the
names,
Deep South
right.
rather than
the rule rather than exception.
Rule rather than exception. Deep South, 2 names, last first name.
Yeah, Rogers Hampton.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
All right, man.
Yeah?
Seems like it's a slow week so far, to be honest with you. But I am loving all this NFL football news. I am loving it. That's because everybody's reporting to camps. Veterans are reporting to camps. There are signings. This is now... We're official now. Mm-hmm. We're official. We've hit football season. We've got this stuff going on. They're in camps. some guys are signing, some aren't. Like Saquon signed his deal with the Giants.
Right.
Jacobs did not show up for the Raiders, and apparently they're okay with that, and they understand what's going on.
Well,
apparently
Saquon-
Purdy's been cleared as quarterback for the Niners.
Yeah,
so
well, apparently
a lot of stuff.
Saquon's deal is not really. It was like a franchise thing, so it's a 1-year deal. The difference is he signed it because they put an extra like $900,000 on the back end of it to make it $11 million instead of like 10.1.
Yeah.
And look, you're a running back. Your shelf life is short. Make all the money you can while you can make it.
And he had to get on another Zoom with the other running backs. He goes, look, guys, man, I'm sorry, but after we did that Zoom thing the other day, they called me up and said, hey, we'll give you 11. Good luck, fellas.
Yeah. And Ben's been riding that thing for days now. Just, he loves to keep hammering the same thing about the running back, them all getting together. And look, I get it, right? I understand it. You're you're the position that is most expendable and paid the least, and you have the shortest shelf life and all of that. So I understand why why everybody's upset about it. But you know what? You kind of have to do what you got to do, man. Everybody's got to get theirs. It's good to be.
Yeah, this isn't a lifetime career they're
right.
in. It all ends for all of them.
It's good that they are, trying to band together and kind of be together on things. But in that regard, if they're going to make a guy an offer that he can't refuse, then he's got to go and do it.
You can't fault him for that.
No.
And
get yours.
We kind of expanded off that story this morning with old Fletchy Fletch, is he brought up a list of average highest paid positions on the whole football team.
Mm-hmm.
I was not shocked, but because all you hear about is skillies.
Right. Not
the
here,
highest
though. I
average
don't say
salary of a position player in the NFL.
I would guess a defensive end or a left tackle. Yeah, that's what I would have guessed.
Right tackle.
Sure.
Third, quarterback.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Then it started going to secondary.
Yeah. Well, and the interesting thing about the quarterback spot is you would think, okay, the quarterbacks are the highest paid.
Absolutely.
The difference is there are still.
Oh, he went through a list of the guys.
Well, there's 3/4 of them are still on their initial deals.
Yes,
like Joe Burrow.
And they're only making $700,000-800,000.
Right.
And that's exactly the list we went through. He went through some backups and second and third string guys and what they were making.
Yeah.
And that made a lot of sense as to why, okay, there's only a handful that are topping out.
Yeah, it makes sense in that regard.
The rest of these guys are all making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, which is good money. Yeah. But they're not all making
the high end guys are Mahomes and Allen and those guys that are making a huge amount of money.
And now the next couple are like Burrs and Herbert. Are they're now wanting theirs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That'll come.
It was a really good segment because I learned a lot because left tackle, right tackle, quarterback, and then it just kind of scattered, and then it went down to offensive line,
right.
running. It was very interesting little list that we had fun this morning because with no Adam this morning, you got to try to find some stuff. We're ending up the dog days.
You got to fill up those 6 hours
absolutely.
somehow.
We're ending up the dog days of summer, but now football is cranking up, so we've reached that barrier of crossover to where now it's not all fluff. We can kind of start talking some serious details.
All right, well, let's talk about a commercial real quick because we do have an interview to get to at the top of the hour with David Fry, the utility man for the Cleveland Guardians, former Northwestern State Demon. We also get to your text coming up on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line, and if you'd like to comment on the YouTube live stream, you can do that as well. Amos has done that, said, hello, Patrick. Minden checking in. So good to see you, Amos. Appreciate that. We'll take a break, come back. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
Bobby L. Green Plumbing has been in business for over 6 decades, 60-plus years. That's remarkable, since technology is always shifting and times change. Not only has Bobby L. Green Plumbing survived, they adapted to the modern marketplace, and they've thrived. Green Plumbing can spot trouble faster and repair it quicker using the latest technology. That eliminates your discomfort and saves you money. Bobby L. Green, the Green Team, the plumbing team you like best.
If you're looking for the finest in seafood, the finest in steaks, and a beautiful ambiance, you're looking for Two John Steak and Seafood, 2151 Airline Drive in Bossier City. It is absolutely spectacular, from the New Orleans-style courtyard to the ambiance of the bar to the elegance of the dining room. The best steaks, the best seafood, one of the best wine lists in town, and don't forget Friday lunch, where you can have a beautiful ribeye burger, just the tastiest one in town. It's Two John's Steak and Seafood, and make sure you tell Big John we said hello.
At Rejuve-Me, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2. We can help with those long work days, and we can even make your nights longer. Rejuve-Me. Let us be your age-defying clinic. Restore me, refuel me, rejuve-me.
Taste buds with Bluebell Java Jolt, a delicious pint of coffee ice cream with dark chocolate flavored chunks and a decadent coffee fudge swirl. It's the jolt you need to perk up your day.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Delivery's at the door. Can someone please unlock?
It's been an eventful afternoon with a spike in bookings at Claudia's event space.
We'd love to host Mermaid Fest.
She was already planning on having more event planners on hand.
500? That's a lot of tails.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Now boarding non-stop flights coast to coast from Shreveport Regional Airport.
That's right. This summer, you can fly non-stop to Los Angeles, California, or to the beach in sunny Destin, Florida, or to family fun in Orlando, Florida from Shreveport Regional Airport. Great low fares are available right now on flights all summer long. Book your tickets at Allegiant.com. Shreveport Regional Airport. More flights to more destinations more often, coast to coast.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. RE, our Children's Miracle Network Hospital's champion.
Hi!
Miracle Treat Day is Thursday, July 27th. $1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations benefits your local children's hospital and kids like Ari. So treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 27th.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
Tiger
weather now.
A little change in the heat here over the next few days. It remains with us and will continue on into the weekend coming up. Daytime temperatures ranging anywhere between 96 and 100 through Sunday. Sunny, hot today, 99. Clear tonight, 76. Sunny tomorrow, 98. Thursday, sunshine, 98. Richard DeWettig at the Weather Channel.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Fox Sports plays here.
Floating through the airwaves like smooth hickory smoke. Patrick Netherton.
Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger. Rogers and Patrick, that's us.
No matter what you are,
I'm human.
I will always be with you.
No matter what you are, Rogers, I'm a human. He's Hambone, I'm Patrick. Got the introductions out of the way. Lay, don't forget, we are brought to you by Two John's Steak and Seafood, Bobby L. Green Plumbing. Two John's, by the way, back open tonight. You know, they're closed on Mondays, back open on Tuesdays. Steak, seafood. Rogers, you'll appreciate this. I was chatting with a lady on one of the chatting things. And just, you know, introductory stages, getting to know each other, that kind of thing. And this is a true story, Rogers. As you know, all of them are. I don't make stuff up because the truth is wilder than anything I could make up. By the way, Rogers, still haven't gone for catfish with the lady from the Uber. I still haven't done that. Yeah. So, oh, by the way, you'll appreciate this. Another story quickly. I decided to Uber over the weekend because I need a little money. So I decided to Uber over the weekend, and I got a call from that neighborhood where the lady was, and I was like, surely not. And then I realized, no, it was not the same address. It was kind of slightly different. I was like, man, that would have been hilarious if I could picture her like, hey, how you doing? You had any good catfish lately? You know, that'd be crazy. Anyways. So Rogers, true story. Last night, I'm just chatting with just someone one of the dating sites or whatever. We matched or whatever it was. I don't remember. And we started chatting, and she's from Shreveport and all that. And I said I didn't know she was from Shreveport. Turns out she was. And I said, well, what is your favorite restaurant in Shreveport? And sure enough, Rogers, she said Two John's. She said she loves the drinks at Two John's and loves the steaks. I was like, well, can't go wrong with that. And I asked her if I actually asked her if she'd ever been for Friday lunch, and she said she had not. So I told her all about Friday lunch and the ribeye burger and all that stuff. But there you go. So Rogers, what do you think the chances are when I say, hey, why don't we go on a date to Two John's? What do you think the chances are that that's a yes? About the same chances of me getting those gift certificates to the winners. Which one happens first, Rogers? I get a date with this girl to Two John's, or again, just met. I haven't asked her out or anything. Like, we were just kind of in the, hey, how are you? Where are you from? You know, what do you do? That kind of stuff. What happens first? I ask her out and she says yes to go to Two John's, or I get the gift certificates from Two John's from last football season. What do you think, Rogers? You put any odds on that? It's a tough one, isn't it? It's pretty close. That's like a Sophie's Choice kind of thing. Yeah. I got to pick which kid I like best. That's not great. Yeah. So, yeah. So don't expect to see me on a date at Two John's anytime soon, except if it's with Rogers on a Friday for ribeye burgers. I know. So good. But anyway, Two John's, 2151 Airline Drive, just north of the railroad tracks. Feel free to check them out, I should say. They are spectacular steaks and seafood wine list that's been it's listed as one of the best in the state of Louisiana by Wine Spectator, and cocktails, signature cocktails, and of course that Friday lunch is hard to beat. So it is Two John's Steak and Seafood, 2151 Airline Drive. And of course, when you go by, as always, please tell Big John that we said hello. All right, let's get to some texts. As we mentioned, Amos on the YouTube live stream said, hello, Patrick. Minden checking in. Thank you. My buddy Jeff said, hey, Patrick, checking in from the pit of despair. Good show today. We'll have fun storming the castle later. All right. Sounds good. All right, text on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line. Again, if you would like to submit one of those, all you have to do is go to 318-6570-HAM, 318-657-0426 if you would like to find us over there on the YouTube channel. That's where you can find us. So feel free to check it out, man. Check it out. So we're on the YouTube channel, and you can find us on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line, 318-657-0HAM, 318-657-0426. Sorry, I'm sending the stream out. All right, Cookie Man from yesterday said, yes, there were 6 or 7 of them around the PF Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg area. Mountain coaster. I did one. It wasn't really a mountain. Uh-oh, Rogers got a dang wreck on. Be careful on I-49 south between East Kings and Piermont.
Oh, something's on fire.
Yeah, there's a fire. A car's on fire on the shoulder of 49 southbound. It's down to 1 lane. So if you're planning on going 49 southbound between Kings and Piermont, I would suggest you find another way, because it is down to 1 lane. Something caught on, looks like a truck, like a tractor, a truck with a trailer on it, caught on fire. So they're putting all that out, and it's down to 1 lane going I-49 south. So be careful out there. Friendship Academy said Titanic was the original double VHS tape. Still have it. Wow, craziness. Cocky Cockaboo said, would you do 15 to 30 minutes with Shane Beamer? Sure. I mean, the problem is I don't really have a reason to talk to Shane Beamer. You know, like I don't have a hook. And if you're going to go try to get a big coach like that, then you need a hook. Brian Kelly's hook is it's LSU. We're one of the flagship stations of LSU. He recruits a bunch here in Shreveport, right? That makes sense. They're the state school. But otherwise, if you're going to go try to get a big-name coach from somewhere, there needs to be a hook. Like Rogers, I've had Lance Leipold on a couple of times, and the hook there is I know him. He was on with us back when he was a D3 coach, when we were on the Brando show. All of that, like we're all part of that. So that's your hook there. By the way, coming up at 4 o'clock, we're going to talk to David Fry, the former Northwestern State Demon all-star that is now with the Cleveland Guardians and is making himself comfortable up in the major league level. Double J said Elvis Presto would be impressed by Hambone's King imitation. That was on point. Got your little Elvis, Rogers? Oh, baby. And Rogers, today I found out that apparently KWKH is not where the King used to be, back on the old Louisiana hayride. I thought KWKH was the station, but apparently it wasn't, according to other stations in the market. Double J said, we need Kyle Turley in case a helmet needs to be tossed. Yeah, if we're getting the gang back together, let's get Turley back in there. And Rogers, apparently he's like a rock guy now, like a musician, I think. Oh, yeah. Kyle Turley, he's gotten all skinny and he's like a musician and everything. Double J said, NFL in bed with gambling organizations less than NBA in bed with China. All right, well, where do you put PGA Tour in bed with Saudi Arabia? Like, all of these organizations they claim to be, you know, kind of above board and you know, pristine and all that, and then they're all in the muck. All right, they're all dealing with questionable organizations. 318 said, Ben prepares to go to trial so that he doesn't have to. Rogers, help me out here. What is that? Ben prepares to go to trial so he doesn't have to?
That's a Fletcher lawyer sponsor.
Oh, one of the Fletcher's lawyer sponsor. Okay, gotcha. They prepare so they don't have to go to trial? Okay.
They prepare like they're going to trial.
Prepare like they're going to go to trial. They don't have to go to trial. Gotcha. Jamie G said, got a text from, it was yesterday. It's not hypocritical if the athletes bet on their friends' teams that they play against. For, say, Canseco calls Barry Bonds and says, I got $100,000 on y'all's game this weekend. Throw it, and I give you $50,000. How do you control that? Well, how does one guy throw a baseball game? Right? That's the problem. You couldn't get Barry Bonds to throw a game because, Barry Bonds went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Well, okay. The 6 other guys in the lineup had a hit, and one guy had 2 home runs, and the Giants still won. Right? It's nearly impossible to throw a baseball game. Unless you're a pitcher, right? You go out and early and you're like, I don't have it, and you give up 4 or 5 runs in the first inning. And then, and your team still might come back from that, right? They pull you. You no longer have an effect on the game. Your team scores 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 5 in the fifth, and suddenly they're winning. And you tried to throw the game, but you didn't. It's really difficult to throw games in team sports. It's just hard because everybody else is good. And so you might be bad, but someone else may make up for it. So it's just really difficult. Cupcake. Ooh, a bevy of texts from Cupcake Rogers. Said, this is cool. I'm watching on YouTube. Technology, man. Yeah, YouTube's awesome, man. I highly recommend that if you have an Apple TV or a Roku, something like that, that I highly recommend that you watch on YouTube. It's really a good experience, and you can watch it on your TV. I've pulled it up on my 75-inch TV. Rogers, I'll tell you this, I don't look great on 75 inches. Not good. Like, it's maybe a little too much of me. But especially since I don't have any makeup on or anything, I'm not looking my best. So I get it. But I'm telling you, man, if you get an opportunity to watch on Apple TV or Roku or one of those things, Fire Stick, watch it on your TV, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Jeff said, regarding double VHS tapes, Titanic was most definitely not the original. I had the Braveheart one, which was a double VHS, and that was released well before Titanic. Plus, you had Godfather, Gone with the Wind, Lawrence of Arabia, Sound of Music, Schindler's List, etc. Plenty out there before Titanic. Okay. I honestly don't know why that conversation happened. I'm not sure why that came out. Like, was that during Ben and JJ's show or something? Because that was a text from 5:30 yesterday about a double VHS tape. I don't remember us saying anything about a double VHS tape. So I'm wondering if that may have been during Ben and JJ's show. Rusty the Friendly Janitor said, do you get paid by YouTube or something? Maybe I can make that 200th subscriber. No, but it is a better interface, and I'm kind of starting over in a way. Facebook, we had 1,000 likes, follows, whatever. So there was great opportunity for a lot of people to watch. So we're kind of starting over. So I'm pushing the YouTube a little bit. And by the way, if we get a certain number of subscribers or a certain number of views or whatever, we can start making money off YouTube. And I'd love to do that, right? A way that we can make money organically off of the YouTube channel that doesn't involve having to go hit up an advertiser or potential sponsor, that kind of thing. Though, if you are a potential sponsor and would love to be a part of it, then feel free to give us a text on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line at 318-657-0HAM, 318-657-0426. Love to have you on as a sponsor, especially coming into football season now. We get a lot of views. We get a lot of ratings. It would be the time to do it. Rusty the Friendly Janitor said, just spend Double J's gift cards. He's only got one. He's only got one gift certificate coming. Elvis Presto said, Double J is right. I was very impressed with Hambone's impression. I'm actually looking for an assistant for my new show. How would he look in a tutu? Jamie G said, so you don't tell your teammates to throw it too? Makes no sense. Well, it makes no sense because the money's not worth it. Most of these guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars. It doesn't make sense for them to ask for $100,000 to go throw a game and potentially risk their entire career for it. The money's not worth it. Now, if somebody came in and was like, hey, we'll give you $1 billion to throw a game, hey, then you figure it out. But no. Goen said, can't have another Black Sox scandal. Yeah, but that was 12, 19, whatever. Yeah, 07. I mean, it's so much more difficult to throw a game now, and the money is so much more. These guys' base salaries are $1 million. They don't need to throw a game for $50,000. Doesn't make any sense. All right, David Fry will show up next. The Cleveland Guardians utility man, former Northwestern State Demon star. He is next on the Patrick Netherton Show.
Bobby L. Green Plumbing has been in business for over 6 decades, 60 plus years. That's remarkable, since technology is always shifting and times change. Not only has Bobby L. Green Plumbing survived, they adapted to the modern marketplace, and they've thrived. Green Plumbing can spot trouble faster and repair it quicker using the latest technology. That eliminates your discomfort and saves you money. Bobby L. Green, the Green Team, the plumbing team you like best.
If you're looking for the finest in seafood, the finest in steaks, and a beautiful ambiance, you're looking for Two John Steak and Seafood, 2151 Airline Drive in Bossier City. It is absolutely spectacular, from the New Orleans-style courtyard to the ambiance of the bar to the elegance of the dining room. The best steaks, the best seafood, one of the best wine lists in town, and don't forget Friday lunch, where you can have a beautiful ribeye burger, just the tastiest one in town. It's Two John Steak and Seafood, and make sure you tell Big John we said hello.
At Rejuvame, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2. We can help with those long work days, and we can even make your nights longer. Rejuvame. Let us be your age-defying clinic. Restore me, refuel me, Rejuvame.
Hey, Mark. I just stopped in to say hello, and whoa, the phones are ringing off the hook. Safe to say business is going well?
Yeah, word of mouth kept us afloat after we opened. Then there was a bit of a lull, but it finally feels like we've been getting a steady flow of new customers over the past few months.
What have you been doing? It definitely looks like it's working.
Thanks. We needed to be able to be found where people are searching, and today that means being found online.
How'd you pull that off? Sounds pretty complicated.
No, it was easy. I went to townsquarelocal.com to see how many people are searching for my services in the area. Then the experts at Townsquare helped build my online presence, so my business could be found exactly when and where customers were looking.
That's amazing. Do you think they could help me too?
Absolutely. Go to townsquarelocal.com to find out.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching for your services online. It's quick and easy. Get your business found online by visiting townsquarelocal.com today.
1130 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump. Again.
at America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The future depends on teachers who are reinventing the classroom and starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Your home is the place where you know your loved ones are secure. But the things that keep your home protected can't keep pests at bay. That's where RAID comes in. For 60 years, RAID's scientists have worked to protect people around the world. With trusted research, ingredients, testing standards, and product efficacy, RAID seeks to create a better future for all, especially the ones you love most. RAID, protection for all.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tiger weather now. A little change in the heat here over the next few days. It remains with us and will continue on into the weekend coming up. Daytime temperatures ranging anywhere between 96 and 100 through Sunday. Sunny, hot today, 99. Clear tonight, 76. Sunny tomorrow, 98. Thursday, sunshine, 98. Richard DeWettig at the Weather Channel.
KWKH and K277DO Shreveport, 103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Your home for LSU sports, a Town Square Media station.
A good time is in the air. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
Oh, I see what you did there, Rogers. Glenn Fry for David Fry. I get it. Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. We don't have Fryday by Rebecca Black, unfortunately, in the system, which I'm actually probably guessing David Fry appreciates that we do not. But we welcome in former Northwestern State Demon, Player of the Year in the state of Louisiana, Southland Conference Hitter of the Year, the man that we affectionately referred to as Double Dave back in the day, Player of the Year in the Southland Conference, now with the Cleveland Guardians, and is making things work, which is pretty awesome. He is David Fry, who joins us. Fry, what's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, Patrick, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. It's the first question is, what the heck do I call you? What position do I give you on the team? Like, I can't call you an outfielder because you play outfield and infield and catch and pitch, apparently. What do I call you?
Yeah, that's a great question. It kind of changes just about every week. So I guess just utility.
Well, and look, let's be honest. That's a lot of the reason why you're up and why you're getting ABs, right? Because of your willingness to kind of play wherever Tito Francona needs you. I've got to imagine. Look, we know when you were here, great hitter, right? Northwestern State. We saw you. You pitched a little bit, but injured the arm, and so you couldn't really keep going with that. But the versatility that you've been able to come up with throughout the course of your career, through the minor leagues and into the major leagues, just how valuable is that for you?
Yeah, like you said, it's huge for me. It's got me a lot more bats in the big leagues, and it's kind of helped me stick around. Not being the most athletic, fast guy there is, it kind of helps when you can move around and give the team options. And I've been put kind of all over in spots that I haven't played in a long time, but it's worked out and helped me get more playing time.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been saying this and I don't want to be wrong. Last time I was wrong was before you were born. You have now, since you pitched, you came in and threw an inning there a couple of weeks ago. Have you now played every position as a professional?
Yes, and minor leagues,
right? With minor leagues included, yeah. Have in the majors. You have not played center field, short, or second, right? Is that it?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But you have now played every position as a professional, which is just insane, to be honest with you. I think you need to go to Tito Francona and ask him if you can do that thing where you play every position during the course of a game.
Yeah, maybe when I get a few more years under my belt.
Oh, okay.
I'll go into his office and
you
ask
can.
that.
You, what you're saying is, as a rookie, you probably shouldn't go in demanding to play more positions.
Yeah, maybe not yet.
I will say, though, I've got to imagine for you, David, that having Francona as your manager is a big deal, right? Because he's a veteran, but he's also a guy that's willing to think outside the box. He's not he knows he doesn't have to prove himself. And so he can be more comfortable with, hey, we need to put Fry out in left in Wrigley Field. Let's go do that. I've got to imagine that works for you, right?
Yeah, I think he's a huge part of why I'm here and why I've gotten to play a lot. He's a guy who fights for his players, and like you said, I mean, he just comes up to you one day, hey, you want to play right field tomorrow? And you're like, sure, why not? Let's do it. And even when I first got called up, it was kind of like, went into his office and he's like, hey, you really don't know what the heck we're going to do with you. We just wanted you up here for your versatility. Let's see what happens. And he's found a bunch of different ways to get me in the lineup. So definitely very appreciative of that.
No doubt. Tell me about pitching. What was that conversation like?
Pretty much it was a 10-run game or something like that. I'm coming in the dugout from left field, and he just met me kind of top step as I'm coming in, and he's just like, hey, if I put you into pitch, are you going to do anything dumb? I was like, trust me, I've already been hurt doing that. I will throw it as slow as possible. And he was like, all right, well, you got a chance to be in the big league, so don't screw it up doing anything dumb. I said, yes, sir, you got it.
Yeah. So what's the approach when you go out on the mound? Because like you mentioned, right, you were back at Northwestern State, they were trying to get you into a role as a pitcher, and you injured your arm, and that ended up being kind of the year where you had to play a lot of first base, where you didn't have to throw it as much. You still played, but you weren't really able to do a lot in terms of that versatility. Were you nervous, scared? Like, what was the thought process when you go out there on the mound for the first time in forever?
Yeah, not too bad. Just knowing as a hitter who's faced a position player, it's almost more stressful for the hitter because it's a lose-lose. Like, even if you get a hit against a position player, it's like you're supposed to. And then if you get out, you look like an idiot. So as a position player on the mound, you can kind of throw right down the middle if they get a hit. It's like, yeah, congrats. I was throwing at 50 miles an hour.
Right.
Get them out. It's a bonus.
So what were you throwing? What was your velo?
I think just about every pitch came in at like 53 or 54 miles an hour.
So basically, you were me back at the day at Hamels Park in Shreveport then they had the pitching machine where you would the radar gun and you throw it twice and then try to guess what you were going to throw on the third one. And, you went a stuffed bear or whatever. I mean, I was throwing like 49, I think, in those. So,
That's right. You could have got some of the Cubs out.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. As a hitter, right, this was always my contention with when Northwestern State played LSU. And I've told Bobby Barbier, your old coach, who's now at Southeastern, I've told him this 100 times. Throw the slowest pitcher you've got when you face LSU. Like, they may time you up after a couple of innings or a couple of times through the lineup, but that first time they're going to be baffled by what you're throwing. And I feel like that's the same thing, right? As a hitter, wouldn't it frustrate you to have a guy up there that's throwing 55?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then we faced a couple this year already position players who were kind of doing the same thing. And you're almost so trained to hitting that higher velocity that when you see that, it throws you off. And even yesterday we faced a guy who was throwing kind of like low 80s with his fastball, Ryan Yarborough, and he kind of tore us up because you don't face that a whole lot, and it messes with you.
Yeah, and it's interesting now as well, right, that you don't have pitchers anymore. You don't have Greg Maddux out there anymore. Everybody seems to be mid to high 90s. Everybody has wipeout sliders and crazy breaking pitches. You just don't see a guy that goes up there and works and never, tops 90. And so I've got to imagine that's now the guy you don't want to face.
Right. Yeah. You'd rather the guy who's throwing super hard because at least in your mind you kind of know what you're going to get. With the guy throwing slower, he's probably got 8 different pitches and you don't know where it's going to be.
Yeah. You had a guy similar to that you played with, Jerry Maddux, who pitched, who threw, we always like to say he threw 4 pitches and they were all in a different portion. Like he threw one pitch that was in the 60s, one in the 70s, one in the 80s, and one that could hit 90 with his fastball. And those are the kind of guys to me that seem like they would be the most frustrating, where you just can't get a beat on the guy. And so when David Fry comes in throwing 53, I got to imagine that's pretty tough on those guys. Talking to David Fry, the Cleveland Guardians utility player, because we don't know what position he actually plays. What have you played the most now?
Probably catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Probably caught most, especially being up in the big leagues. Last couple of years in the minors, maybe more third base. But yeah, at this point, it's just trying to be comfortable at any position because it just seems to change all the time.
How many gloves do you own? Different gloves.
Oh gosh. Probably four different ones, and then a backup
for each of those.
Right.
Oh, so do you, like, I know a first baseman glove and a catcher's glove are different, but do you have a different glove when you're playing third base versus left field?
Yes.
That's wild.
The first time I went out to outfield, I had to use our outfield coach's glove because I didn't have one of those yet.
That's beautiful. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. I love that. But you know what? It's working for you. It's making you stick. We were talking off the air beforehand. You just broke Craig Kimbrell's long scoreless inning streak. And it's interesting. I saw a graphic that popped up yesterday that, you have been hitting better in clutch situations so far than you have in just, say the top of the first or whatever. This was something we all have seen. I'll never forget your celebration when you hit the homer against UNO in the championship game of the Southland tournament. That's the most boisterous I'd ever seen you, the most animated I'd ever seen you in a game. How is that translated to being able to get clutch plays? Like we said, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, you get the homer off Kimbrell to tie it up the other night. Why has that translated so well for you in big and high leverage situations?
Yeah, I don't know that it's like any one thing. I think it just happens to be one of those things where I've been fortunate enough to get hits in those situations. Each at bat, I kind of try to treat the same, just come up with a plan for that at bat and an approach, and try to just put together a quality at bat. It happened to work out the last couple of weeks, it seems like, in big spots. Did you have an aha moment at any point? You hear some guys say, yeah, well, I had this at bat. You're a guy that former Demon Adam Aller was up, and I asked him the same question, and he said, yeah, I struck out Aaron Judge. He's like, all right, that's when I knew that I could play at this level. Was there an aha moment for you, either in the minors or in the majors, where it kind of clicked and you said, okay, I can do this? I mean, yeah, and when you're playing in AAA, you're obviously with a bunch of guys who have been up in the big leagues, and I had some really good teammates who were nice enough to kind of be like, hey, like, it's a pretty similar game. Like, you seem like you can probably handle it up there. But since I've been up, I don't think there's been like an aha. I mean, it wasn't the greatest at first. I had some struggles and wasn't playing a whole lot. And there hasn't been one moment I would say that's like, oh yeah, now I belong. I just think just trying to take it day by day and see what happens. How hard is that to stay in it and stay kind of locked in when you are getting such disparate playing time? You mentioned early on you might get an at-bat here. You might come in as a defensive replacement at some point. Now you're starting to see a little bit more of a consistency within the lineup. But how hard is that to kind of stay locked in and ready to go when you're used to being an everyday guy? Yeah, it's definitely a different challenge, but our coaching staff does an unbelievable job with. There's probably 3 or 4 of us that we're kind of consistently coming off the bench, and they do a great job of getting us ready. Middle of the game, we'll go to the cages, and we'll come up with a plan, and it's kind of like, hey, this is the situation we probably see you coming in for this game. So you're looking at what pitcher you might face, and you're going to prepare and put together a plan for that. Or if you're going to come in at a different position, you're maybe going to do some drills earlier that day for where you might come in. And so they do a good job helping us out and keeping us ready for when the situation does come when we come in. David Fry from the Cleveland Guardians joining us, former Southland Conference Player of the Year at Northwestern State, now up in the bigs. Has anything surprised you about the big leagues, whether it's on the field, off the field? Has anything kind of been a surprise to you, whether good or bad? I mean, the first hotel that you stay at in the big leagues, you're like, that kind of surprises you. You're like, holy cow, this is definitely different. We were in New York, and really fancy hotel in the middle of downtown. The last day we were there, I'm walking through the lobby, and you see Sylvester Stallone walking through, and you're like, oh, this is a little different. Yeah. Did you talk to him? Did you go say hi, or did you yell, hey, Sly, or anything? Anything? Yeah, I wanted to have some kind of Rocky comment or quote for him, but he had about 4 or 5 people around him, and he looked like he was busy, and I didn't want to get a left hook. So sure. You wanted to give him a Rocky quote, not take a Rocky punch, is what you're... Yeah, that's right. Well, and that's the cool thing, right? The travel at that level is so much different. And, I mean, obviously when you're at Northwestern State, you're bunking 2-3 guys in a room. It's bus trips everywhere. Your bus is overloaded. I basically refused to ride the baseball bus, just to let you know. I drove everywhere we went because there's just not enough room on the baseball bus. There just never is. Yeah, no, I will say Northwestern State got you ready for the early part of the minor leagues because it was very similar 14-hour trips where you're doubling up in seats, and those kids who were at LSU or other SEC schools, they were kind of like, oh, we you actually bus places further than 3 hours away.
Right.
And so they had a little adjustment period for that. So all this that's here now is definitely way different for me.
You know, we used to joke all the time about Double Dave and how, you know, you had to hit doubles because you couldn't hit triples, and, you know, you couldn't run out of sight in a week, and measure your 40 time with a sundial. We always had lots of fun with that. But here's the thing. You have to be athletic to do what you're doing right now in the major leagues. You can't go from one side of the outfield to the other, one side of the infield to the other, catch, pitch. I can't do all of that without having some athleticism. But if I told you at your senior year at Northwestern State, if I said, hey, you'd have a couple of steals in the major leagues at some point in your career, would you have believed me?
Absolutely not. No way.
I always felt bad. I always felt bad for Quan Atkins because you hit right behind him, and Quan is fast as lightning. I mean, that guy's super fast, and he'd get on base and be like, "All right, well, you got to steal second." It's like, well, no, David's just going to hit a double and drive him in. So we're not. So poor Quan never got to steal bags when he was in college.
Yeah, that's right.
You stopped him from that. All right, so so I obviously haven't been able to watch every game. Tell me about the stolen bases.
Yeah, with the new rules, with the amount of pickoffs that you get and the pitch clock, there's ways to kind of time it up. And when you're as slow as I am, you get on first base, the pitcher's not really worried about you, so you kind of hide in plain sight and you start hopping around over there. They're not really paying attention, and you realize you're halfway to second base. I might as well go ahead and take off here. I think both of them have been standing up, so it hasn't been my speed. It's been they just forgot I was over there.
Defensive indifference, as they say.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, I love that. All right, last thing, David, and I really do appreciate you taking some time for us today. Just the journey, man. You were a guy that obviously all the accolades in college and had such a brilliant college career, and you get into the minors and you kind of have to make your way up. And you get to the show, and now that you're there, you're staying, you're sticking. You're not on the taxi squad. You're not a guy that they're worried about sending down. You're valuable to this franchise. Just what's that been like, man? That whole journey.
Yeah, it hadn't always been the easiest. I mean, Northwestern State was so awesome for me. It was the best thing that could have happened, and I got to play every day there. And Coach Barbier was so great for me, helping me get drafted. And then, throughout the minors, a lot of ups and downs. It's taken a lot of faith, but, God's blessed us with a lot, and just leaning on him, and he's helped us get here to the majors. I mean, there was at times in the minors where you don't think it's ever going to happen, and then all of a sudden one day, AAA manager tells you you're going up, and you need to tell your family to get to New York, and it just kind of, you blink, and you're like, holy cow, we've been in the big leagues for a couple months. Let's just keep our head down, and hopefully we can stay here.
Well,
it's been crazy, but a lot of fun.
And that was, to me, that was one of the cool things. You mentioned Bobby Barbier, who obviously we know and love, both of us, and he hopped a flight and headed up to New York to watch your debut in New York. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, so awesome. But our Cleveland staff couldn't have been more impressed. He was down on the field for BP, and Coach Calipari, the basketball coach for Kentucky, he was there, and he was kind of talking to him, and he was like, hey, so who are you? Like, why are you here? He's like, oh, I'm from coach this guy over here at Northwestern State in Louisiana. And he was like, you flew up from Louisiana to come see him for a day? And he was like, yeah, I'm not like you. I don't get NBA players every day. Like,
right.
I gotta celebrate this, and this is my guy. So I came to watch him, and I think he got a picture with him. And before that game, Tito and a couple of our coaches were just like so impressed that he would make that trip just for a night to come see me. It was pretty special.
Yeah, we were actually worried if he was going to make it back for the for that next series, that next weekend. We weren't sure if he was going to get back in time, but he made it.
Yeah, they had a game the next day versus Louisiana Tech, and he was like, yeah, if I miss it, I miss it, Bert can take over.
Yeah, and look, Bert's taking over. So what do you know?
That's right.
Please make sure to let. I told Barbier when the news was announced that he was the Southeastern coach that I think he looks terrible in green. So if you'll just back me up on that next time you talk to him, I'd appreciate that. You know,
I'll let him know.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. Look, Fry, it's been absolutely crazy to watch you ascend and watch you get to the bigs. Every time I turn around, you're getting interviewed on the Cleveland broadcast, and they obviously love you. Tito loves you, and you know we love you back down here in Louisiana. Brother, congratulations on this run, and keep it up, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick. Appreciate it.
All right, David Fry. Left field, right field, third base, first base, catcher, pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. Nothing wrong with that, Hambone. He's a good dude, man. Fry's such a good dude. And so, just laid back, level-headed, you know. He's, like I said, he hit a home run late in the game against UNO back in 2018 when the Demons went to the national tournament out in Corvallis. He hit a home run late in that game. I think it was the 7th inning. He hit a home run in the 7th inning, and that broke a 5-5 tie. And David was never a celebratory guy, like that kind of thing. But as he hit it, he like threw the bat down and it was like, I've never seen him that pumped up. But that's what he was doing in clutch situations. And by the way, in clutch situations now in the major leagues, he's having a lot of success, including getting the home run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th off Craig Kimbrell a couple of nights ago to break his 16 or 19 inning scoreless streak and send him to extra innings. So good stuff, David Fry from the Cleveland Guardians. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, I knew you would have more Glenn Fry because we don't have Rebecca Black's Fryday, so we don't have that. It's the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger.
Bobby L. Green Plumbing has been in business for over 6 decades, 60-plus years. That's remarkable since technology is always shifting and times change. Not only has Bobby L. Green Plumbing survived, they adapted to the modern marketplace and they've thrived. Green Plumbing can spot trouble faster and repair it quicker using the latest technology. That eliminates your discomfort and saves you money. Bobby L. Green, the Green Team, the plumbing team you like best.
If you're looking for the finest in seafood, the finest in steaks, and a beautiful ambiance, you're looking for Two John Steak and Seafood, 2151 Airline Drive in Bossier City. It is absolutely spectacular, from the New Orleans-style courtyard to the ambiance of the bar to the elegance of the dining room. The best steaks, the best seafood, one of the best wine lists in town, and don't forget Friday lunch, where you can have a beautiful ribeye burger, just the tastiest one in town. It's Two John Steak and Seafood, and make sure you tell Big John we said hello.
At Rejuvame, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2. We can help with those long work days, and we can even make your nights longer. Rejuvame. Let us be your age-defying clinic. Restore me, refuel me, Rejuvame.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. RE, our Children's Miracle Network Hospital's champion.
Hi!
Miracle Treat Day is Thursday, July 27th. $1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations benefits your local children's hospital and kids like RE. So treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 27th.
DQ, happy tastes good.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump. Again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
Crime, poverty, and education are linked, and we know education cuts crime. 85% of people in jail are going home. If they can't read and write or learn a trade, they will commit more crimes and hurt more people. Some people don't want anyone in jail. Others want to lock more people up. I'm Hunter Lundy. I'm running for governor. I'm a Christian and an independent. I believe in both accountability and redemption. We're going to teach inmates to read and write and learn a trade so they won't learn to break and enter. I'll get our kids onto the playground to learn citizenship, responsibility, and character. Employers look for those things. They can be the difference between an auto mechanic and a car thief. Party politics and empty talk has led to more crime. The truth is, politicians don't pay attention to things that work. But I do.
Hunter Lundy, Governor.
Paid for by Lundy for Louisiana.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, President of Operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Penny.
When your project comes up, you have to just jump in and figure out what is it going to take.
From front loader to backhoe, the Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Get $1,000 off a 1025R tractor and 0% APR fixed rate for 60 months. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Tiger weather now.
A little change in the heat here over the next few days. It remains with us and will continue on into the weekend coming up. Daytime temperatures ranging anywhere between 96 and 100 through Sunday. Sunny, hot today, 99. Clear tonight, 76. Sunny tomorrow, 98. Thursday, sunshine, 98. Richard DeWettig of the Weather Channel.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger, Shreveport's home for LSU sports.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, Rogers and Patrick. That's us. Ooh. Mike got a little crazy there, Rogers. A little nuts. Sound like Fletcher all of a sudden. Just beating up the microphone. Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger. That's us. Me and Hambone. Jeff said, Patrick, throwing the game as an individual is definitely hard, but it's easy for an individual to shave points. Tony taught me that in Blue Chips. Pete Bell was heartbroken when he found out. Yeah, Rogers. Tony was throwing games or shaving points. Pete Bell didn't like it. Not a happy camper. Goin said it would definitely be more than 50,000. It would all be relevant to the times. More like $1 million or $2 million for a big-time bet from a big-time person. Like a today's time Arnold Rothstein, whoever that may be. Who's Arnold Rothstein? Is that part of the Black Sox scandal? No, I'm assuming it is. Yeah, again, the problem you run into here is how do you make it lucrative enough for a guy to want to throw a game? And in today's leagues, NFL, NBA, whatever, it is really difficult to find enough money to make it worth your while, because here's the thing, if you get caught, you're done. Like, you have no earning potential anymore. Let's say you're making the league minimum, right, in whatever league you're at, and that's in most leagues it's more than $500,000, less than $1 million. Most leagues are somewhere in that $600,000 to $700,000 range for league minimum. Let's say you're making that, and I come to you as a rookie and I say, hey, I got a deal. You make sure that we don't cover the spread. Now, y'all are a 15-point underdog. Make sure that we don't cover the spread, and I will give you $1 million. Okay, so basically 1 year's salary, with the risk that if you get found out, you're done. So I don't know that you can make the money worth it to players who are already getting that kind of money. To me, it's much easier to do this on the college level, right? Because you give a kid in college $100,000, that's a big deal. Especially if they're not in NIL stuff, they're not in dealing with all of that. I just don't feel like you can make the money worthwhile at the professional level. These guys are making too much. I just don't think you can make it worthwhile. Jamie G said, but they're human too. People have gambling problems no matter what. Yeah, but it's not typically involving a team. And look, maybe I'm naive. Maybe it's happening all over the place and I'm just not aware of it, but it feels like that's something that wouldn't happen. It doesn't feel like it's something that would be an issue to me. Again, college, yeah. Especially back in the day, before folks got NIL deals. You tell the point guard, hey, you're a 15-point dog. Make sure you don't win by, make sure you lose by 20. And we'll pay you $10,000 for it. Yeah, that's something. The point guard gets an extra turnover or two. Make sure that the team doesn't cover the 12-point margin or whatever. That's much easier to do. But the professional ranks, that's tough. And the money just never makes sense. You'd have to legitimately offer these guys tens of millions of dollars to make it work. Because even the league minimum guys are making too much money to risk that, right? Because, Rogers, you think about it, if I come into the league, I'm making, let's say, $600,000 a year, league minimum. Well, you know what? I feel like in 3 years, I'm going to have worked my way up to making $2 million a year or $4 million a year, whatever it is. I may not be making a max contract. I may not be Jaylen Brown signing a $60 million a year deal. But you know what? I might make $4 million a year. And if that's the case, then it doesn't make any sense to risk that on gambling. I'm talking about fixing games. Now, if you're out there spending your money gambling, well, that's a whole different story. By the way, Rogers, the bipartisan bill to try to clean up the NIL has been introduced. Joe Manchin, the Democrat from West Virginia, and Tommy Tuberville, the Republican from Alabama, who everyone seems to hate now that he's in Congress. He's holding up all the military promotions and setting of the leaders and all that, and the Republicans hate him, Democrats hate him, everybody seems to hate Tommy Tuberville. Rogers, beforehand, Auburn loved him and Alabama hated him. Now apparently everyone hates him. But they have come out with their, what they call the Protecting Athletes, Schools, and Sports Act, also known as the PASS Act. Some of the highlights of it, Nicole Auerbach, if you go check her out at Nicole Auerbach, she's got some highlights. Hambone, here you go. You ready? According to this, the PASS Act would protect student athletes by requiring collectives and boosters to be affiliated with a college or school. This is one of those things that's crept up, right? It used to be when we first started, the intent of this was the NIL should be we're paying you to use your name, image, and likeness, right? I'm Hambone Brewery, or let's just say I'm Hambone Restaurant, and I pay whatever athlete to come and be like, hey, I eat at Hambones every time I'm back here at the house. You know, I love Hambones. Their chicken fried steak and their burnt meat, and they're only having Budweiser on tap. I love Hambones, right? That's what name, image, and likeness was supposed to be. But now it's become, all right, we have a group of boosters that have formed a collective, and we're just going to pay everyone on the football team $100,000 or $10,000 or whatever, simply because they're playing on the football team. We don't get any. There's no quid pro quo. There's no reciprocation, which is not how the law was intended to be written. And so this would require that any of those collectives be affiliated with the school. Not sure how you make that work. I guess, Rogers, like the TAF, the Tiger Athletic Foundation, I think LSU does have an NIL collective, right, of their own. You'd have to just be in with that. You couldn't be in with, you and your six buddies that are all billionaires. You couldn't just come up with your own Hambone collective and be paying guys to go play. They're establishing a national standard for the NIL, preserving Title IX, ensuring that nothing in the PASS Act affects the rights of any student athletes or any programs funded through Title IX. They would protect higher education institutions by ensuring that schools, conferences, and associations are not liable for their efforts to comply with the PASS Act. They would prohibit NIL agreements that involve alcohol, drugs, or conflict with existing school and conference licenses. That's an issue. Right? If your conference is affiliated or your school's affiliated with Under Armour and you go out to try to do a Reebok ad, then that's a conflict. You wouldn't be able to do that. They would also require student athletes to ask permission to make use of existing intellectual property. To me, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? If you want to use, if Livy Dunn wants to go do an ad for Vuori or whatever her clothing line is, and she wants to wear an LSU hat or an LSU shirt, she should have to get permission to do that. It makes perfect sense. I have no problem with that. It would preserve the future of college sports by prohibiting inducements. We talked about that a lot, right? The main issue with the NIL is it's not supposed to be an inducement to come to a university. It's not how it was intended. It's how it's being used. Right? You think, Rogers, you think Nick Saban's not on the recruiting trail going, hey, guess what? The Bama booster boys, if you come to Alabama, they're going to hook you up with $100,000 a year or whatever. You think they don't use that to try to entice a recruit to come there? Of course they do. It's not supposed to happen that way, but that's indeed what's happening. This act would improve the transparency of NIL activities by requiring agents and collectives to register with a regulating body, establish a public-facing website to publish anonymized NIL data or anonymous NIL data, and it would require all NIL contracts to be disclosed within 30 days. All right, that's fine, whatever. But here's the big one, Rogers. You ready? This is the big one. This PASS Act would require student athletes to complete their first 3 years of academic eligibility before allowing them to transfer without penalty, subject to exceptions. Exceptions include family, moving, that kind of thing, coach leaving. That would also be an exception. But Rogers, this whole freshman, play a year and then transfer without penalty somewhere, gone. Unless there's a hardship or unless your coach leaves or is fired. That one is going to be a huge issue because they have already let this cat out of the bag, the genie out of the bottle, so to speak. This has already happened. And it is going to be hell to pay to try to reel it back in. To go, okay, well, you no longer can transfer for free unless you have finished 3 years, your first 3 years of academic eligibility. So the free year of transfer, done until you're 3 years into your schooling. That one's going to be a tough one. Like, that's really going to be tough for the schools for Congress to get through, because immediate lawsuits are coming. I mean, lawsuits are going to be flying if that thing passes. Because now you're basically saying, okay, you're limiting freedom of movement, you're limiting ability to choose your own destiny, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But I guarantee you lawsuits are coming if that thing gets passed. And then there's some stuff about helping. There would be health insurance for 8 years following graduation from a 4-year institution. Institutions would have to pay out-of-pocket expenses for their athletes. Institutions would have to honor scholarship commitments made to a student athlete. A standard contract for use for NIL deals, and curriculum on NIL rights, financial literacy, legal, all that stuff. So here's the bottom line, right? They want to curtail the booster activity, where these consortiums, these collectives are getting together and paying athletes for no quid pro quo, no requirement that the athlete go and sell cars at Bubba's Used Cars. We're just paying the kids that go to the school there, right? That's one of the major takeaways. There is, they want those to be affiliated with the university. So the universities would have an official NIL collective, and everyone would pay into the NIL collective, and then the NIL collective would pay out from there. A lot of schools are already implementing some of this. A lot of schools are already doing their own NIL collectives, that kind of thing. But it's definitely going to be a little different when it comes to that. So that's the major thing. And then, again, the one that's going to be most contentious to me is the taking away the one free transfer from these kids. The NCAA had already kind of locked down on this. They had for a while. They kind of just let everyone transfer for a couple of years, especially after COVID. Like, anyone goes anywhere they want, doesn't matter, just everyone go. Well, now they have locked down on a little bit, trying to hone it down a little bit by saying, okay, you get one free transfer, but we're gonna basically take away almost all of the exceptions if you want to try to transfer a second time and not sit out. You're gonna have to really prove a hardship for the second time transfer, but you still get one free. Well, now this legislation in front of Congress is going to change that entirely, to where now you will not be able to transfer. It's almost going to go back to the old grad transfer rules, and that's still in place, where if you graduate from a university, you can transfer without penalty that last year. Now they're saying until you complete your first 3 years of academics at a particular school, you do not get to transfer for free. So this whole, a kid goes to Northwestern State, has a great freshman year, and somebody comes and gets him. LSU goes, boy, we sure missed on this kid. But he had a great freshman year. Let's go get him and have him transfer in without penalty. Well, that's with this legislation, that would end. Also, this legislation says that it will supersede any state legislation. So the federal government is saying, we're going to do this, and doesn't matter what the states pass, forget about it. Which is crazy, considering the fact that one of the parties up there is big states' rights party, right? The Republicans love some states' rights. But this federal bill would supersede anything that the states would come up with. Mr. J said, will they charge the athletes for permission? I don't know. Maybe it's we charge you to allow you to use the official LSU gear in your spots. I don't know. Or maybe it's just, hey, as long as you ask permission and it's not, and that's the other thing. You're not going to be able to do provocative sexual things. You're not going to be able to do drugs, alcohol, pharmaceuticals, They're going to cut out a lot of that gambling, no gambling, NIL stuff. Like, they're going to cut a lot of that stuff out. So it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a fight about this. There's no doubt about that. Because they have allowed the athletes a measure of freedom, and now they're trying to rein a lot of that back in, and that's not going to go over super well. All right, big thanks to... Oh, wait, we're not done yet. about to wrap the show up, Rogers. We're not done yet. It's the Patrick Netherton Show. We'll come back and wrap the show up.